Mm-mm-mm. Good morning. Welcome to Viking Preparedness. How are you Vikings doing? Probably the last day here at High Prairie Acres for a while. Gonna move out. Got things to do. We have very soon coming up. We have Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, First Fruits, which this year those things line up closer with Easter than in other years. So that's happening in our life. There's talk amongst some of my peers and saints and on the internet on events happening in and around Passover this year related to Nibiru type things. For those of you who are into that, I'm not. I have people who are all over it, like white on rice, and they keep me informed. And so for me, that's good enough for now. But for those of you who are interested in looking at something deeper, go do some searching, see what's going on there. I just reread this book, and I just talked about it a little bit on my YouTube channel. It's an interesting book. There's nuggets in it. It's written and published in '73. This guy, Robert Depew, I think he's dead now. Yeah, because he was born before my mother, so he's old. He started the Minuteman, which was a right-wing radical, I think, organization back in the '60s, kind of the counterpoint to the Weathermen. I don't know that they actually ever did anything violent like the Weathermen, but I think they were planning it. But then he went on the lam for a while, and then like skip bail, and then he wrote this book. And like I said, there's nuggets in it that are good, and might be worth your time if you can get it. I wouldn't spend $100 for it. So I think what we're going to talk about today, the deep state. I don't really know what that term means, the deep state. It sounds a lot like, Illuminati National U.S. Branch, right, to me. But there is definitely a group, if you will, maybe even an organization of powers that be in America that do not want Trump. And more importantly, what they do want is a globalist agenda, right? And us to be a big part of a globalist agenda. And I could probably, in about 10 minutes, come up with a good argument that maybe some of these people tell themselves. It would be along the lines of there is going to be a globalist agenda, and we're either going to be part of it and influence it and help direct it or not. So we better play ball or not. That's probably kind of how their thinking goes, if they're trying to justify it. But the deep state, right? They're just trying at every hand to get rid of Trump. But the people, we the people across the world, internationally are starting to kind of rise up. Now, why is that? Is there a disturbance in the force? Are people starting to figure out we're getting ready to get to this precipice and we're off to the races so they're trying to pull back, if we get there? Brexit, right? Britain's for Britain. Yes! That's what I say. Aussies for Oz. Oh. We have a lot of Australians who watch us. I like you guys. I like Australians as a people. You're messed up in the head on your guns. Y'all need guns, man. I know, probably every one of you that watches this. I was actually thinking, and I thought, oh man, now that would be mean and like bragging. I was going to say, this one's for Oz. And I was just going to lay out some of the guns we get to play with on a daily basis. And I thought, yeah, that's not nice. So I'm not going to do that. But the deep state, they're real. They are trying to sabotage Trump at every turn. Trump knows this. Trump is smart. He didn't get to be a billionaire by not knowing what he's doing. That doesn't mean he's going to succeed, right? But he's trying things and they're trying things, and so it's this kind of interesting little interaction that's going on there. But I heard somewhere, I read, and I think it's probably true, that they, Who is they, Pastor Joe, you paranoid old man? They, the Illuminati, the Bilderbergers, the Council of 300, whoever, the movers and shakers of this world, they have a code, and part of that code says they have to tell you what they're going to do before they do it. And the method, the means they use many times to tell us what they're going to do, what their intentions are, is Hollywood, right? TV and movies. I'm getting somewhere. Man, I'm almost out of coffee. I should have made another cup before I started this. So Woosley, I don't know what side he's on. He was the former director of CIA back in the 90s, right? Like early 90s. Definitely a smart guy, right? You're not the head of the CIA if you're not intelligent. Definitely for the time he was in, and probably still, knows what's going on, right? Like really knows what's going on. And so his opinion is valuable. He did a piece recently about why we should consider preemptively nuking North Korea, letting that genie out of the bottle, the nuclear genie, right? I think that's probably a manifestly bad idea. But, and where does he line up in this deep state globalist versus, he's probably on the elite side, right? I mean, just by the position he held, right? That's brewing, right? We're hearing things about North Korea. There's like a propaganda thing going on, how bad North Korea is. And we're starting to be fed a diet of it so the American people can be desensitized so we can go kill those gooks, right? That's what's going to happen. They just demonize people. Do you know what the word in Korean language for American is? Migook. And then Hanguk is Korean, and yeah, that's probably where that term came from. It's considered derogatory. You probably shouldn't use it. But that's what they're going to do. They're going to just demonize them, and, we're like we call the Russians the Ruskies, right? Or Ivan. They're not people. That's the enemy. That's the threat. That's what we do. Psychology. Anyway, we're starting to see that thing kind of heat up in the news. I don't necessarily know that it's actually heating up to where it really bothers you or me. It certainly doesn't bother me in the Ozarks. North Korea cannot reach the Ozarks with a nuke. And if they can drop an EMP on, via one of their two satellites that's going over North America, and we haven't taken steps to just remove those satellites from space, which we could do in a second if we wanted to. Yeah, it's all part of the game, man. So they tell us what they want to do beforehand, which I believe they do. And they use TVs and movies to do it, which I think they do. And a television show that I watched when it was out, probably watched it on DVD, actually. I don't remember if we had a TV then or not, but I definitely own the whole set of DVDs now, is Jericho. EMP happened in the U.S. and the bar never runs out. It's like, what was that TV show? Cheers? Friends? Whatever. With nukes. But there was definitely deep state things going on. I mean, my favorite character was the black guy, right? The like undercover spook guy. I don't remember what his name was, but he was cool. Kind of liked him. And for a while, you didn't really know what side he was on, right? And then you figured out there was like this deep state thing that had set off nukes on purpose, blamed it on other people, so that order out of chaos, they could consolidate power and do what they wanted to do. Do you think they're capable of doing that? Especially, look at that big finger. Especially if they think they're losing their grip. Like, this populist thing is going too far. We need to do something to bring everybody back over here where we're still firmly in control. Oh, yeah. That could happen. False flag, blame it on somebody else. Don't blame it on anybody. Just do it and let people figure it out themselves, which they never would. That kind of thing. Do I think that could happen? Maybe. Maybe. What to do about it? What to do about it? Get away from the cities. If it happens, whether it's done by the deep state or it's actually done by a real bad actor who just wants to hurt us, they're not going to nuke the Ozarks. There's nobody there. They're going to go bang for the buck, right? They're going to hit a city. Don't be in a city. Just don't be there. I don't like east of the Mississippi. Now, I don't like east of the Mississippi for a lot of reasons. Are there countrified places east of the Mississippi? Oh, yeah. Yeah, there certainly are. But man, they are surrounded by so many people, and the infrastructure, that web that just surrounds those isolated places, not so good. And because there's so many people, there's so many rules and regulations, and where we are in the Ozarks, there's no building codes. We can build whatever we want legally, however we want. That's how it should be, by the way. It's your property, you should be able to do what you want. But you can't do that back east. And there's taxes, and there's this, and there's that, and that. East of the Mississippi, woof. And that's also where much of our population is, right? East of the Mississippi, and then, or as you're looking at it, the California coast, right? And Seattle and Oregon. I mean, Portland. Bang for the buck. That's where the bad things are going to happen. And that's also where, if and when something horrible ever does happen, the federal, and indeed perhaps international, resources are going to be focused on those areas, because people are our greatest resource. And so you got to control the people. And so they will control the people. And they're going to start in the big population centers. And their hands will be full. And so they won't have time to be running around out in the boonies where, there's a little farmette here and a little farmette over there and an 80-acre farm over there. It's just not going to happen. And so I encourage y'all to move. But that TV show, Jericho, yeah, what if something like that happened? I guarantee you're not going to have a bar you get to go hang out in. It would be a pretty rare town where the mayor rises to the level that he does and does such a good job. But that could happen. Small towns are an option, right? Mel Tappan, I've got all of his writings up there in one of those books. He was like one of the early survivalists, right? And he did a lot of writing for, I think, Guns and Ammo, Tappan on Survival. He was a big fan of moving to small towns out in the boonies. I would say if you could live on a gravel road or dirt road, if your driveway, such as it is off of a gravel or dirt road, cool. If it's not, it should be far enough out in the boonies and hopefully not on a major blacktop road. And if you live in the country, you know what the major roads are and the minor roads are. And your house really shouldn't be visible, if at all possible, from the road. That just makes you less of a target for all kinds of things. Set the house back. For those of you contemplating moves to the country, and I guess I'm morphing a little bit into a security talk, but I'm just trying to keep people safe. Fences and gates, and just simple fences and gates work to a large degree. So things like that, basic preparedness, right? Be prepared. Have food. Have a plan to grow, produce more food. What's your water situation? How are you going to get water? Do you have a plan for a nuclear shelter should one be necessary? Have you read Nuclear War Survival Skills by Crescent Kearney yet? Do you have a copy? Have you then taken it and gone, where would I build a shelter like that here? Have you done that? Have you gathered the materials? Thing about when this happens, I think it's going to happen quick, right? Quick. You're not going to have a lot of time to do things. And you will be in a little bit of a panic mode. All right. Hey, we did, that's that for this coffee talk. What is that? We did our first beta testing of the live stream chat yesterday. For those of you who participated, thank you. Yeah, I know the camera quality wasn't great, the sound wasn't great, but we were on. And so I will continue to work to improve those. But you can look forward sometime after, probably probably mid-month, we'll have our first one, and then towards the end of the month, we'll do another one. I'm going to do 2 live chats a month for a while because I kind of feel like I owe y'all at the $3 and up level because I said I would do them. And so I'm going to do at least 2 a month. And then eventually we'll probably go down to 1 a month. Unlike the one we did yesterday, which you can see down there. I had no plan for that other than let's make this thing work. Let's figure out how this camera works and how do I read and you know, that kind of thing. We'll have a planned kind of activity. I'll try to announce it about a week in advance when it's going to be. And I saw some questions. I saw a lot of people commenting on Patreon. I totally didn't see those comments until this morning. I'll put the warning order up on Patreon. Hey, we're going to do a live chat here, and then right before the chat, I'll take the URL for it because I have YouTube host it, and I'll put that up as a separate post, and you'll be able to just go directly to that, to the YouTube live stream, and then you can chat on the side box, and it'll work for you. And so we'll try that. And I'm looking forward to that. So that's that. I have the newsletter. I'm working on that. That'll be coming out. The fact that I haven't had my reading glasses for the last couple of days. Do you know, I have several pairs of regular glasses and bifocals because I'm that age now. But I only have one pair of these cool glasses they made me. They're like the bottom part of my bifocal for the whole glasses, and they work really good on the computer when I'm doing stuff like writing a newsletter. And I only have one pair of those. So I got to get the prescription for that. These aren't simple, just like reading glasses you get, you know, for $1. When I used to wear contacts, I needed reading glasses, and you know, bought those for like $2 at Walmart or something. They're not simple like that, but I need more pairs because I've been a little handicapped here for the last couple days without my reading glasses. So, but we'll get that sorted out. Look forward to that. I'm excited about that. And yeah, I appreciate y'all. Deep State, Jericho. I'm interested in your comments. Do you think it's a possibility? Or do you think I'm just like, Pastor Joe, you need to get out more, man. Step away from the computer and the gloom and the doom and go plant some more fruit. Something like that. Let me know what you think in the comments. I appreciate y'all, and I'll see you out there.